So heuristic minimization, what is done? Generate some cover of function F. Iteratively improve it, reshape this cover, and it is still getting, if it is getting better, go to step 2, clean up final answer and quit. So a function is not the same as the cover. Okay. So if you look at this in sum of product style, cover is what set of implicants you will actually use to implement your function. It is a set of groupings circled in your Karnaugh map. It is what gets implemented as AND gates in real hardware. It is what a cube list represents. Okay, but it is not what a BDD represents. So given a function, we can have different covers. Okay, the goal of two-level minimization is to find the best cover or at least a good one. So here is an example. This is our function f. Okay, when a function f gives you an output 1 when x1, x2, x3 take the following values 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1, 1. Okay, under these combinations, the function value is 1. Okay, now that is denoted here. 0, 0, 1 implies, so this second row, x1 dash, x2 dash, x3. Then you have 0, 1, 1, which is x1 dash, x2, x3. Then you have 1, 0, 1, x1, x2 dash, x3, and the last row 1, 1, 1, that is x1, x2, x3. This is one cover. The function can be represented using this cover. But you can also see that if I club the first two, cubes, you will get, this is x1 dash, x2 dash, x3. This is x1 dash, x2, x3. So I can eliminate x2. So you get x1 dash, x3. Similarly, if I club these two, you will get x1, x2 dash, x3 and x1, x2, x3. So you can eliminate x2. So x1, x3. So this is another cover for the same function. Okay. But again, you can see here, x1 dash x3 plus x1 x3, you can eliminate x1 dash x1, okay, from these two. So this is just x3. So this whole function is actually x3. So there are different there are different covers. Okay, this is the last cover that you see. This is the second last cover. This is the first last cover, first cover. Don't worry about this 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, etc. We will see that what it means. We will see what it means at a later point of time. So, but what BDD represents is this final thing. Okay, when x3 is 1, output is 1. When x3 is 0, output is 0. This is our function. Okay, so BDD is not representing the first two, because BDD is an optimized reduced order BDD, gives you a unique representation. Okay, so that is this. Okay, so the in two-level minimization, what people are really doing, they are doing steps or optimization is similar to espresso. Espresso is one algorithm. There are many such algorithms. Many versions of espresso. What people do is they manipulate cube lists. Lots of unit recursive paradigm algorithms, and we will look at a few in detail. Okay. So if you look at exact minimization is lower than espresso. Okay, but it gives you an optimum answer. Actually, the tricks are to avoid generating PIs explicitly. As I mentioned in the last class, you will have millions of prime implicants, so generating them becomes very difficult. Okay, and so that is the whole idea. You generate only a few prime implicants and try to refine the cover of the given function. So, so what we saw so far, a two-level minimization basics. Minimum solutions are made out of prime implicants. Finding the best set of PIs is intrinsically a covering problem. It's usually too expensive to generate all PIs and search exhaustively for the best cover. So what you don't know yet is heuristic that avoid explosion of prime implicants problem. So when we try to start finding all PIs, it will be exponentially large. Okay. So most successful heuristic is Espresso from IBM, Berkeley University, UC Berkeley. So it contains different steps, but major steps are three. They are reduce, expand, irredundant. So there are three steps. They are executed in a loop to obtain the best possible cover for a given function. Okay, this is not the best. It is one of the that you are trying to find out given a cover which is as good as possible within the given time constraint or resources. So some more basic tools are doing this. More operators on covers of functions represented as cube lists. More useful properties of covers of Boolean functions. So we can this Espresso will do some more thing. Okay. Now let us come to the representation of cube lists or cubes using what is known as positional cube notation. So you are aware that we interchangeably use implicant and cubes, okay, or cube and product term. They are actually interchangeably used. Cube is same as a product term. So how to represent each cube? Using positional cube notation. So what it does is it allocates one slot per variable and 2 bits per slot. Okay, one slot per variable and 2 bits per slot. We can write down each cube very simply by just noting which variables are true and which are complemented or absent. In slot for variable x, put 0, 1 if product term has x in it. In slot for variable x, put 1, 0 if product term has x bar in it. In slot for variable x, put 1, 1 if product term has no x or x bar in it. Here is an example. Suppose my product term is just a bar or a dash. Then you have, see, one slot per variable. So there are 3 variables. So one slot for A, one for B, one for C. And each slot has 2 bits, 1, 0, 0, 1 or 1, 1. But here, since this is A bar means, you see here, put 1, 0 if product term has x bar in it. So this is A bar. So 1, 0. In this product term, you don't have B or C. So B is denoted by 1, 1. C is also denoted by 1, 1. Okay, so A bar is represented like this. Here is another example. AB. A is in uncomplimented form. So you represent as 0, 1. B also 0, 1 because B is also in the uncomplimented form. And C is not present in this. So you put 1, 1. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So why do we choose this 2-bit representation? Because it tells me whether a variable is 0 or 1 or whether it is absent. Now suppose, can a slot ever have a value 0, 0? It cannot. It simply means that variable, that such a cube is void, or it cannot have such cube. Let us see an example. Let us see. I can represent I have AB and I have a cube C bar. there are two cubes. One is AB and another is C bar. Okay. Now let us see what happens when I do an AND operation between these two cubes. Okay, AB and C bar. So I should get ABC bar because AND operation of AB and C bar. So AB is represented 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1 because A is represented as 0, 1, B as 0, 1, C. Here C is not present, so I represent as 1, 1. In the second cube, A and B are not there, so you represent as 1, 1, 1, 1. C is in the complemented form, so 1, 0. If I do a bitwise AND operation, I get this 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Okay, so this is A, B, C bar. That is what is actually we are getting. Okay, we are ANDing AB with C bar, so we are getting ABC bar, and that is represented as the AND operation, bitwise AND operation of these two positional cube notation, positional cube based representation. Another example, suppose I have a cube A and another A bar. Okay, now suppose I find the AND operation between these two. Actually, if I do an AND operation between A and A bar, there is no cube at all because they cancel. A and A bar, it will never be, give you 1. Okay. So how A is represented? 0, 1, then other variables. Okay. And A bar is represented by 1, 0 and other variables. So when you do a bitwise AND operation, you get 0, 0. Because 0 into 1, 1 into 0. So rest doesn't matter. So this is actually is 0 because you don't have you can't get a function which is an AND operation of A and A bar. That will be always 0. So such whenever you get a 0, 0 for a variable in the positional cube notation, that whole cube should be dropped from the list. Okay, so here are other examples. Suppose I have A plus BC plus AC bar, then you represent this whole thing as this is A, that is 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, comma AB, BC, that is 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and AC bar, that is 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay, so this is how you represent a function or a cover using the positional cube notation. Now let us look at the tautology. Okay, you can also find the tautology of a function, whether a function is tautologous. We say a function f is tautology when f is 1 for all inputs. Turns out to be many computational uses for this. How hard can this be? Actually pretty hard for big complex functions represented in some sum of product form like a cube list. So here is, if you look at this AB plus AC plus A bar, B bar, A, B bar, C bar plus A bar, this actually is tautology because it will cover all the vertices in this 3D notation. Okay, we will see how to do that. Using positional cube notation, we can quickly find out that. There are rules to find out. Probably, I don't know whether we will go through that. It is pretty simple, not very difficult. Okay. So, positional cube notation, we saw this 1 slot per variable, 2 bits per slot. 0, 1 implies variable, 1, 0 implies variable bar, 1, 1 implies variable not in product term, in that product term, and 0, 0 means void. Cube list represents a cover of a function f. Okay, cube list represents a cover, and that cube I can represent in positional cube notation. So useful properties of PCN. it is reasonably small. N variables implies 2n bits per cube. So it is easy to do simple things like and, or, etc. Similarly, cofactors, you can find the cofactors very easily. Okay. Now here is an example. Let F1 is ABC bar plus A bar C. How do we represent this in positional cube notation? ABC bar is A, B, C bar. You see, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. And A bar C is 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Another example, F2, A bar BC, ABC bar, A B bar C. You just represent in positional cube notation like this: 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, because A bar is 1, 0. So B and C are 0, 1, 0, 1. And for other cubes as. Okay. Now, two-level minimization using PCN. One nice reason for the bit-oriented format is we can do Boolean operations on cubes like AND operation, OR operation, etc. They're actually meaningful. Okay, just now we saw. Okay, now let us look at the cube, the operations on cube, that is bitwise AND operation of cubes. Let us look at this here. Here is an example. Regard each cube as a set of minterms. So you have a cube called A cube. It covers this node, this node, this node, and this node. The 4 nodes on the top of this 3D diagram. There is another cube, B cube, that is 1, 1, 1, 1. This if you club these 4 ones, then you get B cube. So I represent A cube. See, A cube is actually A. That is the top surface of this 3D diagram. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That is A. Both B and C, see, this is C and B, get eliminated because whether B, C is 1 or 0, the output of this cube is 1. So all these 4 ones together are actually result in the cube A. Okay. Similarly, B cube, this B cube is actually the cube is C. Why? Because along this surface, your C is 1 and A and B take both 0 and 1 values. So this is just C. Now, if I do an AND bitwise AND operation, you get 0, 1 because this 0, 1 with 1, 1 gives you 0, 1. 1, 1 with 1, 1 gives you 1, 1. 1, 1 with 0, 1. That is bitwise AND operation of 1, 1 with 0, 1 gives you 0, 1. So this together, after bitwise AND operation, you get AC. AC. So if you look at that, AC is this. Okay. So AC is a cube which is common in A cube and B cube. So bitwise AND gives the largest cube common to both A cube and B cube. So what happens when cubes don't intersect? You will get a void. Void means that intersection has no meaning. 0, 0 means nuke this cube or drop this cube. It can't exist. Let us see the same thing again. Suppose your A cube is this and B cube is this. You do a bitwise AND operation. So B cube is what? B cube is, now you see, now these two ones represent 0, 0, 0. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. A value is 0. B value is both 0 as well as 1. C is 1. So it is A is, here it is A bar, B doesn't exist, and C, A bar C. So this B cube is actually A bar C. A cube, as we saw earlier, it is cube A. Now if you do an AND operation, you will get 0 1 and 1 0 gives you 0 0. Then this is 1 1, this is 0 1. Now the moment you get a 0 0, it is void. Now you have to drop this. What does that mean? There is no intersection between A cube and B cube. There is no intersection between A cube and B cube. That is why you get a 0 0 here. So in this example, the two cubes do not intersect. Hence their bitwise AND operation is a void. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if you do a OR operation, okay, bitwise OR operation, you get a smallest cube that contains both A cube and B cube. So if you do an OR operation, okay, suppose A cube is only this, B cube is this, these two ones. If you do a bitwise OR operation, you get this, which is actually B bar. Bitwise OR operation gives the smallest cube that contains both A cube and B cube. So this is the smallest cube that contains both A cube and B cube. So that is bitwise OR operation. Now there are other operations called what is known as a sharp operation. Okay, called sharp. A cube sharp B cube. Okay. So what this operation does between these two cubes is, after doing A cube sharp B cube, you get a list of cubes that cover all minterms of A cube that are not in B cube. Okay, read it again. A list of cubes that cover all minterms of A cube that are not in B cube. So we sharp off parts of A cube that are in B cube. See a homework or example. What is so our B cube is this. Let us say B cube is this. That is AC. AC is our B cube. What is A cube? A cube is this big cube, which contains all these 4 ones. Okay, here is a 1, here is a 1. So basically A cube is actually B bar. Now A cube sharp B cube gives me all those cubes that are in A cube but not in B cube. So I get these 3 minterms after doing the sharp operation. Okay, so that is what is meant by sharp. So probably we will see how it is done. Suppose A cube is represented by A1, A2, A3, AN. Okay, these are the variables. B cube is B1, B2, B3, Bn. Now A cube sharp B cube is obtained by doing this operation. A1 dot B1 bar, that is A1 and B1 bar, A2, A3, AN. Then A1, A2, B2 bar, A3, AN. A1, A2, A3, etc. AN, BN bar. So this whole thing gives me A cube sharp B cube. Let us see the previous example. A cube was 1 1 1 0 1 1, that is B bar. If you look at this 1 1 1 0 1 1, that is B bar, that is A cube. Then B cube is 0 1 1 1 0 1, that is AC. Okay, so that is here 0 1 1 1 0 1, that is AC. Now we will apply this. Okay, A cube sharp B cube. So what is this? So now you do this. A1 dot B1 bar. That is A1 and B1 bar. Here A1 is this. B1 is this. A1 dot B1 bar. Its complement is 1 0. 0 1. The complement of 0 1 is 1 0. So 1 1 and 1 0. So that is what A1 B1 bar. Then A2 A3 up to AN. So A2 A3 here only up to A3. Okay. This is the first row here. Then the second row is A1, A2, B2 bar, A3, etc. A1 as it is, this 1, 1 comes as it is. A2, B2 bar. Now you see, A2 is 1, 0. B2 is 1, 1. Its bar is 0, 0. Okay. Complement of 1, 1 is 0, 0. And then A3. A3 is this 1, 1 as it is. So this part is actually void because you have 1 0 0 into 0 0. And finally, third, this thing is A1 A2 A3 B3 bar. A1 is 1 1, A2 is 1 0, A3 B3 bar. A3 is 1 1, B3 is 0 1, B3 bar is 1 0. So this is what you get. So if I calculate what all these three rows mean, you have 1 1 1 and 1 0. That is actually 1 0 here. Then next you have 1 0, then 1 1. So these two together gives you A bar B bar. And this is void. The middle row is void. The third row is 1 1 1 0 1 0. That is, this is B bar C bar. So your A cube sharp B cube, okay, is actually A bar B bar, that is this, plus B bar C bar, that is this. So that is what is actually shown here. Okay, this is A bar B bar. This is A bar B bar. This vertical cube is B bar C bar. Okay, B bar C bar. So that is what you get when you do a sharp operation between A cube and B cube, between any two cubes. Now there is another slightly modified thing called disjoint sharp. You please go through this. Okay, this is similar to sharp, but what you get is a disjoint set of cubes after sharp operation. Okay, so